Hello everyone, my name is Naren Sirsua and welcome to Udan. Today I am starting daily quiz of 11th May 2020. Before starting the quiz, if you have not subscribed our channel, then subscribe our channel. So starting question number first is consider the following statements. Statement first is National Technology Day in India commemorates the first of the 5 nuclear tests. Statement second is the tests achieved the main objective of giving India the capability to build fission and thermonuclear weapons. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. And right answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Let's explain this. National Technology Day is observed on May 11, 1974 in order to remind India's technological advancement. This year, the day is being observed under the scheme focusing on rebooting the economy through science and technology. On May 11, India tested its first successful Shakti-1 nuclear missile. The missile was tested in the Indian Army Pokhran Test Range, Rajasthan. The operation was called Operation Shakti after the testing of Shakti-1 nuclear missile. India also successfully tested 2 nuclear weapons. The Pokhran second tests were a series of 5 nuclear bomb test explosions conducted by India at the Indian Army's Pokhran Test Range in May 1998. It was the second instance of nuclear testing conducted by India. The first test, code-named Smiling Buddha, was conducted in May 1974. The test achieved the main objective of giving India the capability to build fission and thermonuclear weapons with yields up to 200 kilotons. Next is question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding aspirational districts program. Statement first is it focuses on transforming 117 districts across 28 states that have witnessed the least progress along certain development parameters. Statement second is broad contours of the program include convergence of central as well as state schemes. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. And the right answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Let's explain this aspirational district program. It focuses on transforming 117 districts across 28 states that have witnessed the least progress along certain development parameters. Broad contours of the program includes convergence of central and state schemes, collaboration of central state level Prabhari officers and district collectors, and competition among districts. 49 indicators across 5 crore dimensions have been identified: health and nutrition 30%, education 30%, financial inclusion and skill development 20%, agriculture and water resources 20%, and basic infrastructure 10%. Next is question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding Rashtriya Yuva Sashaktikarana Karyakram. Statement first is it is central sectored scheme aims to develop the personality and leadership qualities of the youth, and it engages them in nation building activities. Second statement is it focuses on youth between the age of 18 to 25 years as defined in National Youth Policy 2014. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. And right answer is option A, 1 only. Let's explain this Rashtriya Yuva Sashaktikarana Karyakram. This central sector scheme aims to develop their personality and leadership qualities to the youth and to engage them in nation building activities. It focuses on youth between the age of 15 to 29 years as defined in National Youth Policy 2014. It subsumed following schemes: National Young Leaders Program, Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, National Youth Corps, and National Program for Youth and Adolescent Development, National Discipline Scheme and Assistance to Scouting and Guiding Organizations, Youth Hostels and International Cooperation for Information Dissemination. Youth would be made aware about the new umbrella scheme through distribution of IEC materials. Next is question number 4. Consider the following statements regarding members of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme, MPLADS. Statement first is the MPLADS is a centrally sponsored scheme. Statement second is the funds are released in the form of grants in aid directly to the district authorities on receipt of requisite documents. Statement third is nominated members of both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha can recommend works anywhere in the country. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, option D all of the above, and right answer is option B 2 and 3 only. Let's explain MPLADS. The MPLADS is central sector scheme and fully funded by Government of India. The annual MPLADS non-lapsable fund entitlement per MP constituency is rupees 5 crores. The funds non-lapsable are released in the form of grants in aid directly to the district authorities on the receipt of requisite documents. Lok Sabha members can recommend work within their constituencies and elected members of Rajya Sabha can recommend works with the state of election with select exceptions. Nominated members of both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha can recommend works anywhere in the country. MPs are to recommend every year works costing at least 15% of the MPLADS entitlement for the year for areas inhabited by scheduled caste population and 7.5% of the areas inhabited by ST population. In case there is sufficient tribal population in the area of Lok Sabha member, they may recommend this amount of the creation of community assets in tribal areas outside of their constituency but within their state of election. In case of a state does not have ST inhabited areas, this amount may be utilized in SC inhabited areas and vice versa. In the event of calamity of some nature in any part of the country, an MP can recommend works up to a maximum of rupees 1 crore for the affected district. Whether a calamity is of some nature or not will be decided by the Government of India. If an elected member of Parliament finds the need to contribute MPLADS funds to a place outside that state UT or outside the constituency within the state, or both, the MP can recommend eligible works up to a maximum of rupees 25 lakhs. Next is question number 5. Consider the following statements regarding amended Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme, ATUFS. Statement first is it is a credit linked central sector scheme. Statement second is it covers capital investment subsidy only, while earlier schemes of TUFS had provisions both for interest reimbursements as well as capital subsidy. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A 1 only, Option B 2 only. Option C both 1 and 2. Option D neither 1 nor 2, and right answer is option C both 1 and 2. Let's talk about ATUFS. It is a credit-linked central sector scheme. There is provision of one-time capital subsidy for eligible benchmarked machinery at the rate of 15% for garmenting and technical textiles segments with a cap of rupees 30 crore, and at the rate of 10% of weaving, processing, jute, silk and handloom segments with a cap of rupees 20 crore. Subsidy is given to the units entities through nodal financial institutions and not through the state government. It covers CIS, while earlier scheme of TUFS had provisions both for interest reimbursement as well as capital subsidy. ATUFS is targeted towards focused segments like garmenting, and the segments which have achieved desired level of modernization like spinning etc. have been excluded. It is a credit-linked central sector scheme. There is a provision of one-time capital subsidy for eligible benchmark machinery at the rate of 15% of for garmenting and technical textile segments with a cap of 30 crore, and at the rate of 10% of weaving, processing, jute, silk and handloom segments with a cap of rupees 20 crore. Okay, it's again written. Next is question number 6. Consider the following statements regarding Bharatiya Poshan Krishi Kosh. Statement first is, it is the only initiative by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Statement second is, the project includes diverse data sources like National Sample Survey, Agri Census, Soil Health Card, etc. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2, and right answer is option B 2 only. Let's explain this. Bharatiya Poshan Krishi Kosh. It was launched by Ministry of Women and Child Development along with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Agro-Food Atlas, also known as Poshan Atlas, is to act as a repository of diverse crop across 127 agroclimatic zones of the country, having 3 parts crops currently being grown: agroecological conditions, soil organic carbon content, groundwater availability, etc., and guidance on how a greater diversity of crops could be encouraged in particular district or block to promote dietary diversity and nutrition. The project includes diverse data sources like National Sample Survey, Agri Census, Soil Health Cards, ISRO's Advanced Wide Field Sensor, and National Aeronautics and Space Administration's Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer. The project also documents social, behavioral, and cultural practices that promote and reinforce healthy dietary behaviors. Next is question number 7. With the reference to revolt of 1857, consider the following statement. Statement first is, Mangal Pandey fired at a European officer in Meerut, Kent. Statement second is, the Carthage rumor helped to spread the revolt. Statement third is, the injection of Awadh is in 1856 had a special adverse effect on the morale of the Bengal army. Which of the statements given above is are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 2 only, option D 1 and 3 only, and the right answer is option D 1 and 3 only. Let's explain this. On 29th March in Barakpur near Kolkata, a Sipahi with the name of Mangal Pandey fired at a European officer, and his comrades refused to arrest him when ordered by their European supervisors. They were soon apprehended, court-martialed and hanged in early April, but the disaffection of the Sipahis could not be contained. To To the discontent with the service conditions was added a constant fear that the British were determined to convert them into Christianity. The presence of missionaries, the rumors about mixing cow and pig bones, dust with flour, and finally the controversy about the cartridge for Enfield rifles all fitted nicely into a conspiracy theory. The injection of Awadh in 1856 had a special adverse effect on the morale of the Bengal army, as about 75,000 of them were recruited from this region. Next is question number 8. Which of the following are correct with reference to the National Judicial Appointments Commission (NJSC)? Statement first is NJSC proposed to replace the present collegium system of appointing judges. Statement second is the Supreme Court rejected the National Judicial Appointments Commission, deeming it unconstitutional. Next is statement third. NJSC also gave civil society a say in the appointment of judges to the High Courts and Supreme Court. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 1 and 3 only, option C 2 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3, and the right answer is option D 1, 2 and 3. Let's explain NJSC. Supreme Court rejected the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act and 99th Constitutional Amendment by deeming it unconstitutional. NJSC proposed to replace the present collegium system of appointing judges. NJSC was consist of 6 people: the CJI, 2 most senior judges of the Supreme Court, the Law Minister, and 2 eminent persons. NJSC and the 99th Constitutional Amendment gave politicians and civil society a voice in appointment of judges to the High Courts and Supreme Court. Next is question number 9. Consider the following statements about national political parties in India. Statement first. A party is recognized as NPP if it is recognized as a state party in at least 4 states. Statement second is a registered political party is accorded the status of national party as per the Representation of the People Act 1951. Third statement, currently there are 7 recognized national parties in India. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 1 and 2 only, option C 2 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3, and the right answer is option A 1 only. Let's explain this. In India, the registration of political parties is governed by the provisions of section 29A of the Representation of the People Act 1951. It is not necessary for every association to get registered by the Election Commission. Only an association or body of individual citizens of India calling itself a political party and intending to avail itself of the provisions of Part 4A of the Representation of the People Act 1951 relating to registration of political parties is required to get itself registered with the Election Commission of India. Next is registered political parties can get recognition as state party or national party subject to the fulfillment of the conditions prescribed by the ECI in the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968. A registered party is given national status if the party wins 2% of seats in Lok Sabha, 11 seats from at least 3 different states, or at a general election to Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, the party polls 6% of votes in 4 states, and in addition it wins 4 Lok Sabha seats from any state or states, or a party gets recognition as a state party in 4 or more states. According to the criteria given above, currently 8 parties have been accorded the national status. These parties are BJP, INC, CPI, Marxist, BSP, Nationalist Congress Party, All India, Trinamool Congress, National People's Party. Next is question number 10. Consider the following statements regarding National Supercomputer Mission. Statement first is, it is a mission to create a cluster of 70 supercomputers for connecting village panchayats across India. Statement second, this mission is initiated to minimize redundancies, duplication of efforts and optimize the investments in supercomputing. Statement third is, National Knowledge Network comes under the mission. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C 1 and 2 only, option D 2 and 3 only, and right answer is option B 2 only. Let's explain National Supercomputer Mission. The mission envisages empowering our national academic and R&D institution spread over the country by installing a vast supercomputing grid comprising of more than 70 high-performance computing facilities. These supercomputers will also be networked on the national supercomputing grid over the National Knowledge Network. The National Knowledge Network is another program of the government which connects academic institutions and R&D labs over a high-speed network. Academic and R&D institutions as well as key user departments, ministries would participate by using these facilities and develop applications of national relevance. The mission also includes development of highly professional, high-performance computing, aware human resource for meeting challenges of development of these applications. The mission implementation would bring supercomputing within the reach of the large scientific and technology community in the country and enable the country with the capacity of solving multidisciplinary grand challenge problems. The mission would be implemented and steered jointly by the Department of Science and Technology and the Department of Electronics and Information Technology at an estimated cost of rupees 4,500 crore over a period of 7 years. Next is question number 11. The mission Solar Charkha is an initiative by option A, Ministry of Skill Development, option B, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, option C, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, option D, Ministry of Labor and Employment, and the right answer is option B. Let's explain Mission Solar Charkha. The mission is an initiative by Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. What are the objectives of this mission? To ensure inclusive growth by generation of employment, especially for women and youth, and sustainable development through Solar Charkha cluster in rural areas. To boost rural economy and help in arresting migration from rural to urban areas. To leverage low-cost, innovative technologies and processes for substance. Till date, 10 projects have been approved under Mission Solar Charkha. One Solar Charkha cluster has been identified in Andhra Pradesh. The scheme envisages to generate direct employment to nearly 1 lakh persons. Okay students, all for the day. Hope you like this video, share this video, and you can download our application from Play Store named as Udaan Academy. Download that application, you will get further content there and you will get many test series. You can buy these test series up to discount of 99%. Even we selling a test series in 1 rupee only. So download our application. Thank you so much. Bye bye.